Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about the cost of having a baby in the Philippines, in the hospitals and the doctors and all that. We went to, my wife went into labor 2 weeks early. And so she was able to get a hold of her cousin, which is also the secretary. I guess she's the one that makes appointments and stuff with her doctor, and her doctor got a hold of her. She got a hold of her doctor and let her know that, she was in labor. And the doctor said, okay, take her to the Porac Public Hospital because they will not admit her in the private hospitals, until she is verified that she is in labor, and not to go, the distance too. So anyway, we went to Porac, and she was 2 centimeters, and they said, yeah, she's in labor, and that, go ahead and, start heading to the private hospital. You might say, well, why didn't we just stay at the private hospital and just have the baby, or the public hospital there, and just have the baby there? It would have been a lot cheaper. One problem is she was 2 weeks early, and we found out that they didn't have an incubator or a ventilator for infants there. So, there's no sense taking a risk and deliver there and then have to be transported later. So anyway, we loaded back up. Ambulance came to the house and loaded us up because there's 2 issues. We're still under lockdown here, and I'm 60 years old. I am not allowed out. And so we figured, being we're going to go in the ambulance, we might be able to get away with it and not have a problem. And I didn't think I'd be able to go in the hospital because I was reading the rules on the hospital that said, no visitors and this and that, and only allowing 1 person to be with the patient. And that's just because always here in the Philippines, there's always somebody that stays with the patient to go get the nurse or whatever that patient needs. As far as, if it needs something from the pharmacy or whatever. So anyway, we loaded back up in the ambulance after she was checked there. And we were going towards the private hospital that's not too far away. It's 25 minutes away. And anyway, they called them and they said they didn't have no incubators available. They were all being used. So then we had to go to another hospital, which was in San Fernando, and which is 45 minutes away. So anyway, we get there, and this is all happening about 5 in the evening, but the time we get there, it's with the ambulance and everybody getting ready and everything, it's like 9 time we got there. And so, they take her in. The cousin that the secretary went in with her and talked to her about me going in. She said, yeah, I could. And we did bring her cousin with us to stay with her if I couldn't stay. And being we were in the ambulance, we were able to get through all the checkpoints, and so they didn't question, us at all. So anyway, we get in there, and they say, yeah, they're going to deliver the baby because she was already 5 centimeters, and being she had a cesarean on the first child, Lucas. They don't want women to deliver normal pregnancy, labor, because they're afraid that it will rupture the uterus. And so anyway, their practice is once you have a cesarean, you always have a cesarean. It's not like in the States, naturally. And another thing is here, which is not like the States, is you can't go in when they're delivering. And another thing I found out, you have to, when the baby is born, you don't get to go to the baby either. It's in a nursery, and the only time you get to see it is behind the glass. That might be because partially with the virus going on, I don't know. I think it's probably a good practice under the situation because we were really worried about her having this baby with the coronavirus and everything going around. So anyhow, we get her in there and they said, yeah, we're going to admit her, and yes, I can stay. So as soon as I get in there, they go, well, we need 10,000 pesos. Now we have PhilHealth insurance for her and Lucas. So most public insurance, or private insurance or whatever, you can get admitted. And this 10,000 peso deposit was no big deal anyway. So I go pay that. Meanwhile, she's up there getting prepped to have her C-section done. And by 10:26, our son's born. And so then I get to go in or behind the glass anyway, and they show me Liam. They named him Liam. And anyway, he weighed 7 pounds, 5 ounces, said he was doing good, 19.5 inches long. And so anyway, I got to see him and he looked good and everything was great. And so then they said, well, you might as well go to the hospital room. They'll bring Jennifer back in there after 2 hours in recovery. So I go back to the room, the hospital room, and so I'm waiting for her. They got this, I don't know, it's just a piece of 2-inch styrofoam, Naugahyde or whatever mattress you can sleep on that's about maybe 5'8" long. So when you're 6 foot, it's a little short. But they got a place there for you to lay down at least. So anyway, she comes in about, it was about 1:30 in the morning before they finally bring her back. And really didn't get to, talk to her too much. And so anyway, we slept until in the morning, got up pretty early, probably 5. And, there's only time you can go to the nursery to see your baby is from 11 to 12 and 3 to 4 and 8 to 9. That's what it said on the window. And so anyway, I was waiting for, to get 11 o'clock so I can go see Liam. And they get a deal, said I need to go down to, let's see, it was down to information and get a, like a partial bill. And so anyway, I come back up and a guy came, said, hey, you need to go down to the nursery. And this is probably 9:30, going on 10. I go down there and the nurse says, hey, the doctor wants to talk to you. And I said, okay. And so the doctor's sitting there telling me that Liam started having problems breathing around 4 a.m. So now, as all parents, you get very worried. And Anyway, she explained to me that it's pneumonia, they figured, and they want to do an x-ray to verify and a couple other things and some blood work and all this, and anyway, and put him in, you know, get him on oxygen and stuff. And so I said, okay, yeah, whatever we got to do, we got to do it. And so then she goes, we're admitted him now. And so what I didn't understand is we're already in the hospital. Now that she's telling me they're admitted him. So I guess it would have boiled down to, because after she says this, I got to go down and pay another deposit. So if he hadn't have been sick, it would have all just been on Jennifer's bill, evidently. So anyhow, after, you know, hearing that, and she said, you know, we're going to try this, see how this goes, everything, you know, not to worry, you know. We've, pneumonia for newborns in the Philippines is common. Anyway, so I go down and pay the deposit, and then I have to go up and tell my wife, you know, our son's sick. And it's hard, you know. So then went back, you know, to see him that afternoon, you know, on the regular time that they said. And he wasn't in the room where he was. And so I had to ring the bell and talk to a nurse, and she said, no, he's in the next room over. In which it said, you know, sick babies on the glass above. It was like PNP, and I don't know what the PNP stand for, but it's sick PNP. And so anyway, when they opened it up, he was in a, you know, it was like a bassinet type deal. It wasn't an incubator, it wasn't a ventilator or anything. And they had, you know, tubes in his nose, and she came out and talked to me again, the doctor, and said, listen, we don't want him to try to eat because he's having problems breathing, and it just makes the fight more, so we're going to put a tube in him to feed him. And so they had done that, and oxygen, and also had an IV in him doing the antibiotics. So anyway, naturally I go up and, you know, explain to my wife, you know, this, which she can't get out of bed yet or anything. And till later on that evening she did. So anyhow, we went back that evening, and they said they had to put him in an incubator to help him breathe better. The oxygen alone wasn't, you know, doing as well. And so naturally, when you go and you see them adding more and more to this, you know, baby, your heart goes out to him. And so anyhow, the next day, they came back and said, okay, need to get, you know, a little baby kit that has receiving blanket and all this other stuff, and mittens and all that, which we already had. And I don't know if it's something that, a particular stuff that they want to use and not yours, I don't know. But I went and got the kit anyway. And so now they didn't have the ventilator on it, but they had it there, and parts of it was connected that showed the heart rate and, you know, the rest, you know, his breathing and stuff like that. So it just seemed like every time I went to see him, they was always adding something. And so, you know, you get worried more and more, and you're wondering, when are you going to see some improvement, you know? And the doctor and the nurses, I'll tell you, top notch. They really helped us, you know, and they really stay on top of those babies and keep them, you know, taken care of. They cry, they're there. And so it's good to see that. I think as far as in the nursery, and the doctor was more compassion to their patients and to the family than they are back in the States. So I was glad that we had that experience with them. And you can't say enough for that hospital and the care that, you know, our son was getting. So the next day, you know, they're you know, running more blood tests, and because we went in there on the 18th, and on the 20th, now they're releasing Jennifer, and our baby's going to have to stay there. And so we had paid a deposit of 10,000 pesos. Then we paid a deposit, or paid in for all the costs for her doctor, for the cesarean, and all this, and it came out to 33,137 pesos, which is $662.75. Now, that's not the total cost. That's what I was out of pocket because of health insurance, which was PhilHealth. They paid 19,000 pesos, which is $380. So the hospital total care cost for Jennifer was 52,137 pesos, which is $1,042.75 total. Okay, now Liam, on the 21st, we had to give him another 20,000 pesos. And what they do, the name of the hospital was Our Lady of Mount Carmel Medical Center. And what they do is they'll send this paper, let's see here. Okay, here was the receipt for the 10,000 when we original for Liam. And then here's the deal for the baby kit. Now you got to go down to the upper ground floor to pay for the stuff you get. And like where the pharmacy was, where I picked up the kit, was down in the basement. And so you got to do a lot of walking when you go pay. And then like on the, let's see here. Like here on the 22nd, we had to give another 10,000, and then another 20,000. The reason why we did, 10,000 and 20,000 is because they said they needed 20,000, and I said no, go ahead and pay them, 30,000 pesos, so we don't see this little comment down here. This needs to be done by 4 o'clock that day. Now, if you know the Philippines, you understand that if you don't pay, you don't get service. So that had me really worried. And so anyway, the nurses, they give you this little statement here. And I don't know if you guys can see it that good, but anyhow, this is what they gave me. And I have to take it down to the upper lower floor and pay that. And then on the 25th, I went down, paid another 30,000 pesos. Now the reason they didn't, have a note saying I had to pay or whatever, but she said they want you in billing, so I just go down, you got to pay. And we were having a problem. The first 2 days that we got home, they let us use the ambulance. They furnished the driver and all that, and to go see him. So there was not going to be a problem me going, through the security checks. But on the that second day, when we were coming back, they pulled us over, and they were not happy. And I gave them a letter from the hospital, because I asked the hospital to give us a letter so we'd be able to come back and forth to show that, our son's there, and that we needed to go back and forth. And also my wife, was breastfeeding, and about 3 days after he was in the hospital, they removed the feeding tube, so now we needed to bring, milk to the baby. And so anyway, now we got to do it private. And I'm trying to figure out how in the heck I'm going to be able to get through all these checkpoints. So anyway, they knew a back way. And so we went that way, and actually it was quicker. And no traffic hardly. And so we found a better way to get in there and didn't have all the checkpoints. And what checkpoints there was, they wasn't stopping any vehicles. So then on the 28th, they want another deposit, 30,000 pesos. And here's the list on it. And so now, anyway, doctor says we were going to be able to bring Liam home on the 29th. And he was doing a lot better, so much better. Wasn't fighting to breathe, was eating good, and really strong. He was doing good. So, anyhow, the final bill, and this is what I paid, and this is besides all the deposits. His bill at the end was another 53,628 pesos. His bill alone that we paid was 154,228 pesos, which is $3,084.58. Now, I know people back in the U.S., even me, say, wow, not very much money, even though the son was sick like this. And he was in there for 11 days. And, but the problem is, if you look at it, what normal Filipinos make and have to pay, that's almost impossible. And is a real problem for Filipinos that have sick babies in there. And we did see a couple sick babies there. And their bill was racking up just like ours was. So I know it's tough on them. So anyway, on Liam, the PhilHealth did pay 15,650 pesos, which is $313. I know if you look at the bill and you're going, wow, you paid 154 and they only paid 15,000, not much. No, it isn't much. To me, the insurance is, really not very good at all. But you figure we paid 975 pesos a year for it, which is $19.50. So they did pay, for the amount of money that you pay them, pretty decent, as far as that. So anyway, with what PhilHealth paid and what I paid, the bill came out to 169,878 pesos, which is 3,397.58. So the total bill for Jennifer and the baby was 222,016 pesos, and in US dollars it was $4,440.33. So if you look at it for what it would have cost us in the US, especially if you have a sick baby, that's nothing. And I am on Social Security, and luckily we had money, saved, because I was going to get an NMAX scooter, Yamaha 2020, which they're not out yet. They were supposed to have been out months ago. Thank goodness they haven't, because that money came in handy for Liam. And so anyway, I was going to nickname Liam Scooter. My wife went crazy. She was mad then, and I mean real mad. So I don't call him Scooter. But I think it's kind of funny. She didn't think it was funny. And so anyway, this is what it cost us to have a baby that was in the hospital for 11 days after giving birth to cesarean section. And the only thing this didn't cost is when we used the ambulance, we did pay the driver a little bit of, what you do is you give them a tip. It's they call it, they got a word for it, but I can't think of it offhand. And then naturally we were using somebody else's vehicle, and they drove, and we took care of the gas and tried to give them money for wear and tear, but they really didn't want it. And so anyhow, one thing on Jennifer's bill that I wanted to show you, it's really crazy. Now on PhilHealth, okay, sorry about this, people. PhilHealth, they showed that was the bill, and then right here is what PhilHealth paid, and then there's another 7,755, and then the 10,000, and then left the hospital bill of only 137 pesos. And then here's the doctor's fee, and which their total was 30,600. And then the the doctor's fee, and then PhilHealth paid $7,600 for the doctors, and then that's why we ended up with $23,000 something down here. Now, what's I don't know, it's kind of different here is because see, you got to pay the doctor in the hospital, and even though it's included, you know, all together in this bill, they separate it, and they have their own fees that they charge, and so I don't think the hospital controls that. So that's another thing you can ask your doctor here, you know, how much they charge to do C-sections and stuff. And it's pretty reasonable compared to U.S. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. Hit the like button and subscribe. And yes, Liam is doing very well. He's sleeping right now, or I'd have him on here. Maybe I can figure out to put a picture of him, show you what a beautiful kid he turned out to be, and healthy and doing good. It took us a while for me to be able to do this video because naturally we just got him home, and there's just so much stuff you got to do, and then you have so much family that comes by, which we're thankful for that. So anyway, hope you have a good day and stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.